As the NCAA college football bowl season frenzy has recently ended, there is a new BCS Bowl champion hoisting the multi-million-dollar ATD trophy. We now have transitioned into the midst of college basketball's madness that NCAA officials have proclaimed the month of March. The hot topic of paying college athletes in revenue-producing sports for their contributions to their respective sports and school turns into heated debates across the nation.
Is it time to start paying college athletes?
The NCAA's main concern is its promise made to President Theodore Roosevelt in 1905 that the NCAA will keep college sports at an amateur level and secondary to getting a good education. NCAA Principle 2.9 states, student athletes shall be amateurs in intercollegiate sports, and their participation should be motivated primarily by education and the physical, mental, and social benefits to be derived. Student participation in intercollegiate athletics is an avocation, and student athletes should be protected from exploitation by professional and commercial enterprises.
Collegiate athletics is embedded in higher education. Commitment to academics first has not changed.
Those words are essentially the dividing lines of the debate. To some people, those words are an idea, most likely not an achievable one, but one to work hard towards. To others like myself, it's hypocritical and a contradiction to the NCAA's actions. Although the NCAA wants to protect amateurism and promote academics, the NCAA itself is acting like a big business professional, and its workers are the student athletes. In the last 30 years, the NCAA total revenues have increased over 8,000%. Over the last 10 years, corporate sponsorships have increased more than tenfold, including the NCAA's $6 billion contract over 11 years with CBS Sports for the exclusive rights to the men's March Madness basketball tournament. This comes out to approximately $545 million a year. The deal is the largest deal in U.S. sports history. It extends on their previous $1.8 billion contract. Like professional football, basketball, and baseball, the NCAA holds its own licensed clothing, its own traveling tent show, NCAA Hoop City. It has its own Learjet, real estate subsidiary, and marketing division. The NCAA was never supposed to rival its professional counterparts. It's an educational, non-profit organization. It pays no state or federal taxes on its billions in TV contracts, millions in sponsorships, millions in license and Final Four tickets. NCAA President Myles Brand told athletic directors in a conference this January, "Let us do the best job we can developing revenues for our athletic departments. Athletics, like the university as a whole, seeks to maximize revenue. In this respect, it has been an obligation to conduct its revenue-generating activities in a productive, sound, and business-like manner." Colleges act like professional teams as well. The University of Texas recently expanded its football stadium to 82,000 seats, which includes 66 new luxury suites. Total cost for the expansion was over $55 million. At least 3 college football teams, Michigan, Florida, and Notre Dame, are each worth more than NFL team, the Detroit Lions, according to research by Notre Dame economist Richard G. Sheehan. A common trend that has developed among athletic departments is outsourcing the sales of broadcasting rights and sponsorships to professional marketing companies, such as the Big Ten Conference, who plans to launch a Big Ten channel with Fox Cable Network. If successful, this can be extremely lucrative, like the all-college sport channel, College Sport Television, that was launched in 2003 and bought by CBS in January for $325 million. Following another page from the Professional Sports Playbook, universities have been selling name rights to their stadiums. For example, Minnesota sold the naming rights to its new football stadium, which is expected to be completed in 2009, to TCF Bank for $35 million. And Louisville is looking for $40 million for the naming rights to its new downtown arena. Although the NCAA claims it wants to protect its athletes from professionals and commercial enterprises, and despite bylaws prohibiting endorsements by student athletes, the NCAA endorses its brand name by using video games. Consider EA Sports' NCAA video game franchise. NCAA March Madness cover is of the University of Texas's standout player Kevin Durant, who is now in the NBA. EA Sports and the NCAA claim they preserve the amateur status of every athlete in the game by withholding the use of specific individual names. Therefore, EA Sports can legally market and profit from the game without compensating the athletes in the game, although each player's likeliness, uniform numbers, and attributes are preserved in the game. It's unreasonable that several organizations are allowed to make profits off student athletes, and in turn the players receive nothing. In my opinion, it's exploitation, and it's Although the NCAA claims they emphasize education first and athletics second, the fact of the matter is that students receive athletic scholarships for demonstrating superior ability in sports. If the NCAA really cared about academics, they would hold coaches accountable for their players' graduation rates, instead of paying them exorbitant amounts of money for winning only. I recommend that they tie coaches' salary to graduation rates, because NCAA football players' graduation rates are 54%, and NCAA men's basketball players' graduation rates are 45% at the Division I level. We must acknowledge that many athletes come to school only for athletics, and for the NCAA or universities to deny this requires those entities to stop treating football and basketball as a business proposition, and therefore stop seeking profits. If they cannot do this, then they should stop exploiting these athletes and allow them to share some of the piece of the profits by setting up a committee that will monitor the NCAA's profits and share these with the athletes that participate in revenue-generating sports. Those who oppose paying college athletes in revenue-generating sports might say,
doesn't that stray away from the whole fact that these guys are there because they are college students? I mean, isn't that the whole point here? They're getting an education, they're getting scholarships that pay for tuition, room and board, food. I mean, isn't that enough?
I say,
frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Show me.